Yesterday, we told you the FBI opened a grand conspiracy case. Today, the dominoes are falling faster than they can run. Adam Schiff just got hit with a criminal referral. Not for Russia lies, but for mortgage fraud. That's how they're playing this. Come for the treason, stay for the financial crimes. And Schiff is just the appetizer. The main course includes names that'll shake Washington to its core. Comey, Brennan, maybe even Obama himself. The statute of limitations thrown out the window with grand conspiracy charges. Their own emails are the evidence. Their own words are the noose. 4 years of gaslighting America about Russia collusion while they were the ones colluding to overthrow an election. The hunters have just become the hunted. Don't go anywhere. This one is good. And while the deep state actors conspired against our republic, your body has been fighting its own battle against time. Collagen production dropped dramatically after 40, leading to wrinkles, sagging skin, and joint pain. But here's what they don't want you to know. You can fight back. Just like we're exposing government corruption, expose your skin to rejuvenation with ageless multi-collagen. 5 types of collagen from 4 clean sources, hydrolyzed for maximum absorption. No GMOs, no hormones, just pure collagen that actually works. Visit healthwithgary.com for 51% off, free shipping, and a free ebook on amazing skin. Plus, every order feeds a hungry child. That's healthwithgary.com, because looking younger while doing good is the ultimate revenge. Healthwithgary.com. Okay, so the Schiff is hitting the fan. What's Peter Ducey saying?
Has committed mortgage fraud, and part of the president's argument is this: I've always suspected shifty Adam Schiff was a scam artist. Adam Schiff said that his primary residence in Maryland to get a cheaper mortgage and rip off America, but he must live in California because he was a congressman from California. And here's a quick refresher about President Trump's beef with Schiff.
He is using the department as both sword and shield, acting like a convicted felon because he is a convicted felon. The Trump administration is corrupt. No one, not even a president, is above the law.
Well, now the California lawmaker, who spends a lot of time in Maryland, is responding.
So the president today is accusing me of fraud, and the basis of his accusation is that I own a home in Maryland and I own a home in California. Big surprise. Members of Congress, almost all of them own more than one home or rent more than one home. We're required to be on both coasts. So he is using my ownership of 2 homes to make a false claim of mortgage fraud.
The president wants stiff penalties here, so we had a chance to ask, how stiff?
And you say that you want Adam Schiff brought to justice.
I would love to see him brought to justice. I'll tell you what, I think Adam Schiff is one of the lowest of the low. I would love to see him brought to justice. He is a dishonest, crooked guy. I don't know about the individual charge, if that even happens, but Adam Schiff is a serious lowlife.
The New York Post first reported that Schiff barely spent any time in California because he was always at this Maryland house 3 years ago. Back to you.
Yeah, so I guess one of the things was that they said that they listed as his primary residence, Peter. That was it, and you can't do that.
Oh, yes, and the longer version of President Trump's Truth Social is very, very detailed. The specific dates that certain boxes were checked on mortgage applications. But yes, the president is accusing Schiff of saying that Maryland was his primary residence when he was running to represent California, which the president thinks.
Peter, remember the same thing happened here in New York. Letitia James, our AG, she was accused of doing the same thing. A residence in Virginia, and she allegedly was claiming that as her primary residence, yet she was the AG here.
And we have no idea what's going to happen with this, but at a minimum, President Trump elevating this is going to mean a lot of paperwork probably for Adam Schiff over the next couple weeks or months.
What a shame. Peter, thanks so much.
Well, they went after.
What a shame. Oh, yes. Here we have Gunter Eagleman. The criminal referral on Adam Schiff has been obtained by Laura Ingram, and you wouldn't believe what they're alleging. Let's listen to what Laura has to say.
referral for Democrats.
Administration is corrupt. No one, not even a president, is above the law.
Well, we have a Fox News alert. The Angle has exclusively obtained the criminal referral for Democrat Senator Adam Schiff. It shows the underlying conduct described could result in claims of mortgage fraud. The referral submitted to DOJ by Housing Director Bill Pulte alleges that Schiff has, in multiple instances, falsified bank documents and property records to acquire more favorable loan terms, impacting payments from 2003 to 2019 for a Potomac, Maryland-based property. Schiff owns a home in California and another in Maryland. Well, perhaps when the Democrats decided to have Mr. High and Mighty Adam Schiff head an impeachment witch hunt against Trump, they should have done their due diligence, not just on their absurd allegations, but on their own chairman. With us to analyze is Jonathan Fahey, former federal prosecutor.
You know, we covered this as it was breaking a couple of weeks ago. I'm glad to see the criminal referrals are finally coming to light. Let's see, Chicago one, right? Every one of these traitors were in on the Russiagate conspiracy. This is treason. When is Obama and Comey and the rest of them going to stand trial for it? Definitely want to see it. Here's more. Adam Schiff been referred by mortgage giant Fannie Mae to the DOJ for mortgage fraud. Adam Schiff is going to get a little appetizer of justice before the main course of treason.
We're a big update for you on reporting. We did here at Just the News last October around California Senator Adam Schiff, the man behind Russia collusion, remember him? And a concern about mortgage fraud concerns. Last year, we reported that Senator Schiff had repeatedly declared in mortgage filings that two of his homes, one in California, one in Maryland, were both in his primary residences. And that is a problem because Americans are only allowed to claim one primary residence, which is the home that they live in the majority of the year. Claiming both homes as his primary residence ended up netting the senator some great benefits like lower mortgage interest rates, tax advantages, and the ability to run for the House in California. Now, fast forward to today, and the president is now speaking about it. Why? Because Fannie Mae, the mortgage giant, has concluded there's a reason to believe his conduct, that is Adam Schiff's conduct, was mortgage fraud. They made a referral to the Justice Department on Truth Social this morning. The president talked about it, and then he gave some comments about it in response to a question by Real America's Voice's own Brian Glenn. Take a listen.
First, Letitia James, alleged mortgage fraud. Now we have Adam Schiff allegedly committed mortgage fraud at all. Yeah. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I just saw it, and I think the thing with Adam Schiff is very serious, and I think what they have on Letitia James is very serious. That's a very, very serious situation. But I have to leave that up to the district attorneys and to the prosecutors and to the attorney general, most importantly. And Adam Schiff looks very serious. Look, he's a sleazeball. Everybody knows it. And I was a little surprised. I thought he would have covered his bases a little bit better than that. Adam Schiff is a lowlife. He deserves what he gets.
Wow, no subtlety in that answer, but an important one. Go back and check our story out from October. We have it up on the site. We also have the latest coverage today. And Democrats do have a mortgage problem. Remember, beyond Letitia James being under investigation now, Adam Schiff, Carol Mosby, the state attorney, Democrat state attorney in Baltimore, also was convicted in a mortgage fraud case about a year ago. So this is a growing problem. Amanda, watch what happens. You go around, you come around. And here's another little twist. Remember that Joe Biden, I think, put Adam Schiff on the parts. You know what Adam Schiff can't do in any proceeding before the Justice Department now?
Claim the Fifth.
He can't take the Fifth Amendment.
That's right.
Yeah, so fate has a funny way of turning itself around.
Isn't it funny also that Adam Schiff even realizes how bad the housing market is in California? That he has to try to get breaks.
That's a good point. I thought a big update for you.
Oh, wow. We got this. Karen Bass raising money for illegal immigrants is treason. Let's hear what Tim Pool's take is on that. We just covered this a couple days ago.
Force on our country. Guys, you know, on this show, I often refrain and I argue as hard as possible that people are not committing treason. They say, oh, you know, that Democrat did this or that lawyer committed treason. And I'm like, no, treason is adhering to the enemies of the United States. What most people are referring to with like Comey and these investigations is sedition, trying to undermine or overthrow the government. Treason is when you betray your country to foreign individuals, to enemies of the United States. Mayor Karen Bass has announced that she will be partnering with private individuals to give money to illegal immigrants that are here illegally and that are currently trying to evade federal law enforcement. Now, Trump has already declared an invasion. He has targeted these marijuana farms. There's concerns about child slave labor. They recovered, I think it might be either 14 or 20 child slaves working on these farms. Trump saying, we're going to send in law enforcement and shut this down. Strong likelihood that there is an overlap between these narco gangs, these cartels. And now we're hearing Karen Bass says she's going to give them cash, quite literally to the letter of the law. That is treason. And I don't say that lightly, but I don't have another word for it. When Donald Trump, the president of the United States, declares an invasion and says, these people are an invasive force on our country, we are going to start deporting these narco, et cetera. This is the first step over the line where a politician is providing funding and resources to individuals by which Trump has already said we are being invaded. Guys, you know.
And what do they call that? Giving aid and comfort to the enemy. Here we have this from Harrison Smith. Trump fired USAID workers, so they decided to commit treason.
Fired USAID bureaucrats warn Trump of coming regime change. A very particular set of skills. Fired USAID and other government workers used to working in authoritarian countries are quietly building a resistance to Trump with their backgrounds very much in mind. Quote, you just released a bunch of well-trained individuals into your population, one currently employed federal official involved in these efforts told Notice. If you kept our offices going and had us play solitaire in the office, it might have been safer to keep your regime. So the State Department and the USAID, who have for the last several decades hidden their regime change operations under the guise of charity and humanitarian prospects, are apparently taking the knowledge and the skills that they've learned and employed in authoritarian places around the world and are now working on regime change here at home. Fired State Department bureaucrats reportedly using their regime change skills to sabotage Trump. But right-wingers are the threat to democracy. Right-wingers are the violent ones. Right-wingers are the authoritarian ones. We're dealing with a subversion that is like beyond understanding. To where it's like... Okay.
I mean, think about what's happening here. Karen Bass fired USAID workers, everyone working against the interests of the United States. But there is more. Oh, yes, my friends. We have, let me see here. Let's get to the grand conspiracy that is now unfolding. John Solomon, new evidence shows U.S. intel had proof. Buckle up. U.S. intel had proof of Hillary's criminality before Comey cleared her. They knew her Russia collusion story was a ruse to smear Trump. If this gets declassified, it would finally blow the whole thing wide open. Now, why are we still talking about Hillary Clinton? Because we must have justice. And it's buffering.
Just on Hillary Clinton's email that reveals that the United States intelligence community got new evidence of possible criminality in the Hillary Clinton email scandal, but did not pursue it just before James Comey cleared her of all criminal wrongdoing. That has stayed secret for 8 years. Chuck Grassley, the Senate Judiciary Committee chairman, has been relentlessly pursuing it. He has President Trump's ear. I think that's going to get declassified in the next few days. That will show that there was reason to pursue Hillary Clinton, not clear her, and not pursue Donald Trump. They should have not ever investigated him for Russia collusion. The second piece of classified evidence that could be released is referred to by John Durham as the Clinton Plan intelligence. It's an intercept 5 days before the FBI opened up on Crossfire Hurricane that Hillary Clinton was about to concoct a Russian scandal and try to pretend that Vladimir Putin was helping Donald Trump win the election. That means that the CIA, the FBI, and President Obama himself personally was aware that what Hillary Clinton was doing was a ruse, a political dirty trick, and still James Comey's FBI opened up on the information. If those two pieces of evidence get declassified so grand jurors can see it, Pam Bondi names a special prosecutor. We'll be rolling by the end of this week.
We could be rolling by the end of the week. President Trump discussing the grand conspiracy case in an interview with Real America's Voice with Just the News' John Solomon and Amanda Head. Listen.
Be straightened.
Opened a grand conspiracy case looking at the last decade of weaponization against you and the protection of Democrats like Hunter Biden and Hillary Clinton as one ongoing criminal conspiracy. I want to ask what you think of that approach and whether you think a special prosecutor might be warranted.
Well, I'm happy that they did that. I don't know much about it, but it deserves to be done. It was a disgrace what happened. And what happened in 2016 and what happened in 2020. It's a disgraceful situation, and our voting has to be straightened out. I always say, if you don't have borders, if you don't have fair and free voting, you don't have a country. And we have disgraceful voting that they spend all of this money on voting, and some of the votes don't come back for weeks later. The whole thing it's a scam, and we have to straighten it out.
For all the things that have happened, there's the Russia collusion against you, there is Jack Smith against you, there's all the things that happened in 2020, not investigating China interference in the 2020 election. Where do you think, what are the things that are most important that you would like to see the FBI get to the bottom of?
I think they could look at all of it. It's all the same scam. They could look at this Jeffrey Epstein hoax also, because that's the same stuff. It's all put out by Democrats.
Yeah.
And, some of the naive Republicans fall right into line like they always do. They just don't have the sustainability. They don't have they don't have that stick to it like glue. The Democrats, they have bad policy. They have bad candidates. They have bad everything. But they stick together. The Republicans don't do that. They ought to look at.
But we do need to stick together now. We need to get behind our president, especially with respect to the appointment of special counsel for all of these things. From Russiagate, 2016, 2020, Epstein, all of it. Here's more from John Solomon on the grand conspiracy.
Later. The theme of tonight's show is accountability, and we are starting to get some recently. Our new reporting up at justthenews.com says that the FBI has opened what they are calling a grand conspiracy probe on the weaponization of government and the Department of Justice, dealing with everything from the Russian collusion hoax back in 2016 right up to Jack Smith's antics nearly a decade later. It will be investigated as a possible ongoing criminal conspiracy. A lot of things happen with that. Now, the investigation was opened several weeks ago by FBI Director Kash Patel, and now it might get a big-time boost from President Trump. They need him to declassify tranches of evidence that could signal how the 2016 Russia collusion conspiracy started. We're going to try to see if we can get President Trump on the show tomorrow night. We'll keep you posted on it. Now, remember Hillary?
And of course he did get him on the show. Here we have more. Florida's Voice reporting on the grand conspiracy allows for the circumventing of the statute of limitations on matters of government weaponization and lawfare. Florida's Voice
launched a grand
Florida's Voice, Drew Steele, here.
Criminal conspiracy investigation into what was the weaponization of the federal government that is in decades in the making, that is doing something that people didn't expect, circumventing the statute of limitations, because everybody has been saying, well, what are we going to do? I mean, it's been so many years, the statute of limitations. Where can we go with this? John Solomon last night on Hannity's program was talking about exactly where we're going with this. This is big news, everybody.
Yeah, and Barack Obama, too, because he was in on these early meetings. So what the FBI has done is treated the last decade of weaponization, all the great work that James Comer has turned up through his oversight committee, and put it into a timetable and said, this looks like an ongoing conspiracy, a wash, rinse, repeat cycle of Democrat gets in legal trouble. Hillary Clinton in her email case, Hunter Biden with his taxes, Joe Biden with his classified documents. Are let off the hook even when there is extraordinary evidence suggesting they shouldn't be left off the hook. And a parallel track occurs where the Republican, in this case Donald Trump, is investigated falsely for things like Russia collusion, Ukrainian interference, his own documents at his home in Mar-a-Lago. This is a criminal conspiracy. By treating it as a conspiracy, you eliminate the 5-year statutes on
Ooh,
Did you hear that? It eliminates the 5-year statute of limitations by calling it a grand criminal conspiracy. But it gets better, everybody. It gets better. Listen to this last part from the great John Solomon at Just the News. Listen to this.
Individual crimes. If something happened in 2016, but it was part of an ongoing conspiracy that continued with Jack Smith raiding Donald Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago, it can be charged in the larger conspiracy, even though if you tried to charge it in an individual case, you wouldn't get it. Furthermore, you could also change the venue. Remember the troubles John Durham had bringing prosecutions to Washington, D.C. Jurors wouldn't convict even if they thought there was criminality going on. In this case, you could pick a place like Florida.
Oh, hold on a second. Ding. Yes. So because Jack Smith and all of the things that were happening with the raid on Mar-a-Lago, the DOJ and what they did to Trump, and because they went into Mar-a-Lago next to the Florida case, that means the case can be made right here. And how about that? He's launched a...
Oh, man. They screwed themselves big time when they decided to go after President Trump. It's all coming home to roost. Justice is coming. Spotzel posts. Ash in America on the grand conspiracy. We have proof of the meeting of the minds in their own emails. The evidence against Brennan topples the globalist regime. Let's check this out.
In a conspiracy. So remember what John Solomon has said about this case, this grand conspiracy case. There was multiple overt acts in the conspiracy, and each one of those impacts the timeline. The auto pen is on that list. The Steele dossier is on that list. That's like 4 years. That's a span of 4 years, or even, it's even more. No, it's about 4 years between those two events. Overt acts in a conspiracy. Conspiracies, meeting of the minds to engage in criminal conduct. And we have the actual meeting of the minds because we have their emails on both of those overt acts in a criminal conspiracy. The Steele dossier and the 51 former intelligence letter about the Hunter Biden laptop. Both of those things are overt conspiracies. They knew both of them weren't true. They knew the Steele dossier wasn't true. They knew the Hunter Biden laptop was in fact Hunter Biden's laptop, right? But they engaged in a conspiracy to defraud the American people and undermine the president of the United States. And we have the meeting of the minds for both of those things. And the organizer on both of those things appears to be John Brennan.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And I'm part of why I'm so excited about this case, this grand conspiracy case, is that we have seen the evidence that will convict. And conspiracy cases are notoriously hard because people don't usually keep records of their meeting of the minds to engage in criminal conduct. People usually destroy that shit, but these people were so cocky, and government retention being what it is, they played themselves, and they're caught. And the investigators have the information about how they're caught. I believe Trump when in 2017, he said, I caught them all. They spied on my campaign. We caught them all. No one else could have done that but me. Let's see what happens. Well, we're seeing what happens. And taking down a global criminal shadow governing cabal is a pretty big RICO. It's bigger than the Gambino family. That took like 20 years to get to meaningful arrests. So people need to chill the fuck out and stop reacting to every headline about whatever op you think is being swept under the rug, because you're about to get everything that you want if what you want is justice. So remember what John Solomon...
Well, what we want is Matt Gaetz on the case. In case of emergency, break glass. It's time to break some glass, friends. Don't ask how, just listen up. Something big is coming down the tracks. John Solomon didn't just speculate, he confirmed it. The DOJ and FBI have been quietly building a massive criminal conspiracy case against the deep state. It covers the full window from 2016 to 2024, targeting the sabotage of Trump from the very beginning. Pam Bondi may be days away from naming a special prosecutor that will allow indictments to be brought outside of D.C. Florida's in play that changes the jury pool and battlefield. Here's the part nobody in the media wants to touch. The Epstein network is reportedly connected to the case, not just for the island crimes, but because people linked to Epstein allegedly used blackmail and leverage to help drive the lawfare against Trump. Some of those names are powerful and still active. Trump trusts the full list now could cause chaos and derail the entire case. That's why he's hiding it or holding it, not to protect the guilty, but to protect the investigation. And here's the twist. And we reported this as it happened. Matt Gaetz flew into D.C. this weekend, reportedly at Trump's personal request. He skipped a major turning point event and instead took a private meeting with the president. Some insiders say Gaetz may be under consideration as a special prosecutor. That would be a lightning strike. Now, of course, Matt Gaetz came out and said, no, I wasn't summoned by anybody. But, of course, classic misdirection. They're not showing their hand. He's not showing his hand. Trump, Bondi, and Gaetz are all playing roles behind the scene. If this flips, it won't just be payback. It'll be exposure on a historic level. Watch the next 14 to 21 days. If a special prosecutor is named and the indictments move to Florida, you will know this is the real deal. They tried to destroy Trump with hoaxes, lawfare, and lies. Now the trap is set, and it is springing on them. Drain the swamp isn't just a phrase. It is happening. Matt Gaetz, you are being summoned, sir. You are being summoned. Bring the hammer of justice with you. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So justice delayed is justice denied, except when it comes to treason. The grand conspiracy investigation changes everything. No more hiding behind statutes of limitation. No more, that was years ago, excuses. The FBI has the emails proving a coordinated meeting of minds to destroy Trump's presidency before it began. USAID workers committing actual treason by leaking classified docs after being fired. Karen Bass fundraising for illegals and paying them while Americans suffer. Joy Reid, of course, having deranged rants, calling you a cult. Okay, it's all connected by one thread, the systematic betrayal of the American Republic. And now Schiff's mortgage fraud, just the first card to fall. When criminals run the justice system, paperwork crimes become their downfall. Just ask Al Capone about his taxes. The storm that they mocked is here, and it has subpoena power. So here's the question. Should Obama be investigated for his role in Russiagate? Let's have a conversation. Drop a yes or no in the comments below, and then check out our merch shop. Wear your truth with pride. You can help us expose the auto pen scandal with our President Auto Pen shirt. You guys will love it. Go check it out. You got to see a close-up of it. It's amazing. And, of course, you want to support Alligator Alcatraz? You can do so. Wear your shirt with pride, or you could pick one of your favorite members of the administration, whoever it may be, in our American Badass collection. It is all at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. It's linked below where you can trigger a liberal today.